Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Dragon's Lair. My name is Brent. Today we're going to be looking at some mostly vintage, but some of them are, more modern, but a lot of G.I. Joe vehicles. I found a toy shop up in Savona, New York. And of course, by the time I found them, they were closing up shop. He's still selling toys. Super cool dude. I go up there every few weeks or whatever and sort through stuff, looking for stuff, because he's got a big warehouse. But he had a toy shop that he just decided, he's not going to keep it open. He still sells, but he sells online mostly. That's most of his sales, which, I get it. That's probably the easiest way to sell stuff. But he closed shop, and he just had crazy sales. The more he bought, the cheaper it was. So I was going up and getting G.I. Joe vehicles and figures. And like I said, some of them are vintage, some of them are more modern. But today we're going to go over some of the vehicles I actually picked up. I won't drag this out too long, but at least I always say that. But we're just going to get into this, and we're going to start off first with the Vector Jet. I got to check these off. I got a little list here so I don't forget what the vehicle names are. Hopefully I don't mess it up. But this is part of the Battle Force 2000, I think it was. Which, well, yeah, you're not going to see it the way I got the camera set up, but definitely needs cleaned up a little bit. I think it's complete except for this little panel right here. Does have some missiles on it, stuff like that. Super cool little jet. Like I said, definitely needs cleaned up. Very happy to add that to the collection. It's something I never had as a kid, but it is pretty cool nonetheless. Next up, I did show this in a previous video from a Goodwill haul. I got this at Goodwill. This is the Swamp Masher, which it's missing the gun right here, and I think one missile. I think that's all it's missing. But I paid $1.49 for this bad boy. I do believe I had this as a kid, so I thought that was pretty cool. Missile does come out. That is pretty cool. Kind of a weird place for a missile, in my opinion. I guess if you ram into something, you're going to blow yourself up. But hey, it's G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe didn't think about stuff like that, so that is pretty cool. Check these off as I go. Of course, now we have what a lot of people say is one of the worst vehicles ever made for Cobra. This is the Cobra Pogo, and I do believe this is complete. At least I think it is. Definitely not a vehicle I'd want to ride into battle. Sitting in that thing as it's bouncing around. But it is pretty cool. I did have this as a kid, so it is kind of cool to have this back in the collection. I'm not going to go into super detail. I'm sure there's plenty of videos out there on people who go over all this stuff. This one I haven't taken the price tag off. No, I did not pay that. It was, like I said, it was pretty much a super discount, which I don't think this is complete, but this is the septic tank from the Eco Warriors line. This is well after I quit. But let's see if I can move my stand out of the way here, make it a little better. This video was a little bit bigger, a little odd. Like I said, I think that is complete or near complete. If I do that, I got my camera here, it's just kind of odd, but very cool vehicle nonetheless. Next up, we will go with the RPV, which I want to say I had this as a kid, which is the remote piloted vehicle. Very cool. I don't know, I guess. I don't remember much. I think it's about complete or near complete. But you sat in the chair and you shot that off, and it was remote control, I guess. I don't know. Kind of weird, kind of crazy. It also comes with this little thing. Which, like I said, I think this is near complete, but I haven't completely looked. A lot of the stuff definitely needs cleaned up, as it probably sat on his shelf for quite a while. But he moved quite a bit of stuff. He does have, at least he says he has a flag in storage somewhere, and I am working out a trade towards getting the flag, as I did have the flag as a kid, which I should have kept it, but I didn't. I'm dumb. It is what it is. But I am working on a trade, and that's one of the reasons I have been going up, trying to find out. All we found so far is one deck piece, so he's got a lot of stuff in storage, so hopefully I can get up there and do some sorting and cleaning for him. I told him I'll work for Joe, so hopefully we'll get something done here. But anyways, next up we got, this is the Law Laser Artillery Weapon. I did have this as a kid. Definitely one of the more cheesier vehicles. I don't remember what you paid for this as a kid. You know, probably $7, $8, $10. But very, very cool, nonetheless. Definitely cheesy, but it is what it is. And next up we have, this is the Slam. It's got little pieces that come out here. Must be that's to keep it from pushing back when it shoots or whatever. I think it's got them in the back too. Don't quite remember. This is, I believe, near complete, as I am missing, I think, 2 missiles. 2 or 3 missiles, something like that. I think 3 missiles. But, very, very cool. I don't think I ever had this as a kid, but it is pretty neat, so I'm happy to add that to the collection. Of course, I have no way to display this stuff right now, so hopefully I get a house here pretty soon. Wife and I are working on it. We're getting there. We'll get there eventually. Next up, we have the G.I.Joe Barracuda submarine. Mark these off as I go. One I never had as a kid. Does look like it's missing a missile here on the front. Which, other than that, it might be complete. I don't know. There might be a missile that goes in this right here. Which I don't even know. I don't even think you could put a Joe in this. It must be like a remote control sub or something like that. I don't know much about this. It is kind of neat looking. Which I want to say there was a Cobra one there too, but I didn't pick that up. I probably should have. At least I think it was a Cobra one. But very, very cool anyways. Next up, definitely had this as a kid. A little bit bigger vehicle. See if we can move back. So this is the G.I.Joe Havoc. It is near complete. Got a little crooked sticker there. I'm missing, I think, just 2 missiles. 2 missiles on it. I actually have the shell of this too. I found the shell of this at a thrift store a couple years ago, and it was missing like the gun and stuff was missing. It had the shield. It was missing the little I don't know what you call this thing. If I can get this up without breaking it. Probably not. Well, I just had it up. I can't get it up. I don't want to break it on camera here, but when I did find it, it was just basically the shell with these 2 guns. It didn't have this little hovercraft thing in it. No stickers on it, but so I do actually have 2 of these. Like I said, this one is near complete, and the other one's just basically a shell, but it's in pristine condition. Other than one of these flaps is actually busted on that one. But that is a Havoc. I do have Cross Country in my collection too. I should have probably got him out for this, but I didn't. I actually got him at a thrift store out of Quarter Bins. It was the one with the rebel flag on his back, I believe it is. But definitely, it's a cool vehicle, but it doesn't make sense as, you know, I don't know. All your guys get shot because they're right there in the front. But that's G.I. Joe for you. It is what it is. We love it anyways. And next up we have another Cobra tank. Which, I actually like these HISS tanks. Maybe I back my camera up a little bit. Maybe if I just hold it. Get it off the stand. Definitely cool. I don't know what year this is. I want to say it's like 2000s or 90s or 2000s. Although it does say 19, and you probably can't see it. It does say 1983 right there, but I do not believe it's 1983. I think they just used the shell. Very, very cool nonetheless. I always liked the Cobra HISS tanks, so I thought that was pretty cool myself. And then we also got this bad boy, which I thought was pretty cool, which is basically a Cobra version of the Mobat, it's called the Cat, the Cobra Cat, the Crimson Attack tank. Very, very cool. Oh, dropping my phone here. Very, very cool looking tank here. Sorry about that, guys. I saw this. No, I did not pay the $50 for it. It was probably more like 20, 25 bucks, something like that. I bought a whole bunch of stuff, and it was just good deals in my opinion. But very, very cool. This is more modern. I believe this is 2000s, which I'm not opposed to collecting, you know, the newer stuff. And last but not least, probably the only box vehicle I got out of this whole lot. This is the Cobra Crimson HISS tank with the HISS driver. Probably getting a little bit of a glare there. Very, very cool. Flip it around. Which he had some of these loose ones there, but I don't think they were complete. But when I saw this, I was like, yeah, I'm picking this up. And it was probably the same thing, about 25 bucks for it. Definitely more modern. I'm not sure what year this is. And it's probably maybe after one of the movies or something like that. But very, very cool. We got some cool artwork on there. Sorry about the glare. I don't have either one of those vehicles. More modern vamp. Very, very neat. But that is it for my little G.I. Joe vehicle haul. I do, like I said, I got a stack of figures there, and I got more figures that I actually got off them in other bags, and some other figures I got off, other places, yard sales and stuff like that. So I am going to be doing a video on G.I. Joe figures too. That is it for my little vehicle haul for G.I. Joe. I thought it was very, very cool. I hope you guys liked what you saw. Like, comment, subscribe. It's all cool. It's all good. Thanks for watching, guys.